Welcome to MCN, and in this video I'm going to tell you why Ducati's new Panigale V4 is probably the best and the most complete superbike that has ever been built. So we're all aware of what the new Panigale V4 R has been doing in the racing scene. I mean, it has just absolutely exploded into world superbikes. Nicolo Bulliger has won every single race on it so far. Ika Lecuona's been hot on his heels. And in BSB, Kyle Ryde has been absolutely incredible. It just shows how well that bike works, even when it's been used in sort of different formats. It's got different electronics. It's got completely different specifications. But the thing about building a good superbike is it's got to be, it's got to be able to cater for everyone, from your track day rider, someone who's going to ride it down the shops, to, your world superbike champions. And I think that's what really sets this new V4R apart. So as a little bit of a background, in recent years, Ducati have really sort of changed their ethos around their superbikes, whereas their previous, superbikes, their homologation specials, they've always been really ragged, aggressive. They've been hard to ride. They've been, like the bikes that you really need to grab by the horn. Over the last sort of 10, 15 years, Ducati have really worked on making all of their bikes far more rideable and far more usable. And the culmination of this is the latest V4R. So we were really lucky. We got a chance to ride it for 3 sessions at Donington Park earlier this week. And to be honest, it absolutely blew me away. So as a little bit of background for the 2026 model, it's had quite a few updates. The 998cc V4 motor, which is smaller than the one on the V4S, just to conform with racing regulations, has had quite a few tweaks. The chassis has now been brought in line with the V4S as well, so it's got a different front frame. It's also got the dual-sided swing arm. It comes with, top of the range Öhlins forks and shock. It comes with Brembo high pure calipers, and the electronics have been incredibly refined too. Now, we're not going to go too much into the detail of like the nitty gritty of what Ducati have done with it, because I want to sort of explain it in the riding experience. Let's start with the engine, because that is the gem of all superbikes, and that V4 motor is absolutely incredible. Now, we were really lucky. The bikes that we got to ride also come with the full titanium Aprokovich exhaust system, which is an absolutely mind-boggling £8,249 extra. But what that offers is an unlocking of the engine. It ups the power to about 235 horsepower, even more if it's also being used with Ducati's special shell oil, which is just a mind-boggling number. And what that actually means in reality is that the Ducati it makes straights disappear. If you've ever ridden Donington before, you'll know it's one of the more open tracks compared to somewhere like Cadwell Park or Alton Park or Brands Hatch Indy. The straights are a little bit longer, you've got a little bit more space in between corners, but the Panigale V4R just absolutely demolishes them. The way it picks up speed and just revs it's just addictive. It revs so hard. So the red line's up at 16,500. It makes its peak power above 15,000 RPM. And in reality, you're riding it and you feel like you're going incredibly fast. You feel like you're on a superbike. And then you look down at the speedo and you've still got 2,500 RPM to go. You've still got peak power to come, and it's already pulling your arms off. It is incredible. There is nothing that I would change for that motor if I wanted to go racing or track daying on it. The throttle response is super smooth, and of course you can alter the engine maps as well, so you can bring the power down, you can alter the throttle response, you can alter the engine braking response as well. Now, if you're going to have a fast engine, you need it to stop well. And that is another place where the Panigale just absolutely just blows your mind. Those Brembo high pure calipers, they just offer so much stopping power. There's so much bite, but there's also so much feel through the lever. The way they grab onto those twin 330mm discs is just absolutely exceptional. Donington's really hard braking, so especially when you're coming down, say, into the Melbourne Loop, you're barreling down there, you've got all that power underneath you, and then you hit the brakes, and the way it not only stops, but feels like the front's already loaded, it feels like everything's really secure. It means you can just keep on pushing your braking markers. You can keep on absolutely taking the mick with it. Even if you're at a track day pace, it feels like it can just push you on and on and on and fills you with confidence. And then when you get into a corner, one of the biggest changes with this model compared to the old model is how they've actually reduced the rigidity. They've given it more flex. And what that means is, even though the Panigale's busting lap records everywhere as a superbike, as a road bike on a track day, it doesn't feel too stiff. It doesn't feel too aggressive. It feels like that sort of perfect blend on track where, you know, you can still fire it in and out of corner. You can still get loads of feel when you're on the edge of the tyre. It's on Pirelli supercourses. You get loads of grip and you can just really lean on them and rely on them. And, you know, if you catch a curb at Donington, you can use the curbs at the inside of the S's. It doesn't get too unsteady. It doesn't get too unstable. Just like a race bike, when it's got really stiff settings in the suspension, it can sometimes throw a bit of a wobble, tie itself in knots. The Panigale V4 R actually does that a lot less than you might anticipate. And I think what's so beautiful about this bike is that although it is incredibly fast, although it handles brilliantly well, Ducati have managed to sort of tread that really fine line between making something that can be an amazing race bike for the likes of Nicolo Bulliger to making something that is actually usable for your regular rider. And I think a big part of that as well comes down to how well the electronics are set up. So this has got the latest electronics package from Ducati. It has a host of engine modes. It's all fed through a really nice TFT dash. It's really easy to go into the settings. It's really easy to, you know, alter your modes if you want to turn the traction control down, leave the wheelie control up, vice versa. It's really easy to navigate through. And considering what they have to put up with, considering the power that you're putting through it. Say for example, the wheelie control, when you're coming down the back straight at Donington, you shift from third into fourth, and then just as you hit the crest, the wheelie control just holds it nicely. Coming out the slower corners, you can literally fire the throttle at it, and it just holds it nicely. Where some of the other systems are really intrusive, and you feel like you almost want to back off just to stop that aggressive halting where it brings the front down. The Ducati somehow has manages to tame that power. And what that means is, although you've got this ridiculous figure, you can actually use it. Like, you can always say, you know, you don't need more than 150 horsepower, you don't need more than 180 horsepower. That's probably true. You know, you're probably not ever getting close to using that maximum power all the time. But the fact that it is actually there and within reach, and you've got that help in hand, I think makes a big, big difference. And on the subject of the electronics as well, another thing that really stands out on this bike is the ABS system. Now, Ducati have been really clever with their ABS, whereas some of the Japanese models especially are incredibly intrusive in terms of their ABS. The Ducati system is exceptional. Their test riders really deserve a pay rise because you can use it, you never feel the ABS system kicking in. And because of the clever software and systems, there's even an element to the V4R where it applies rear brake for you as well. So it's stopping you quicker without you even knowing you're doing it, and it's helping you turn into a corner because you've got the rear brake applied as you've got the front brake applied. And it's all these little percentages and cheat systems that will really help the everyday rider and are really beneficial in the UK as well. You know, when you're trail braking a lot, when you've got tracks like Cadwell and Alton where you want to be turning in, you want to be turning tighter, it really helps. And another little gem, and the final gem that I really enjoyed about the V4R, is the new gearbox. So for a first in a production model, it actually houses neutral below first. So what that means is you've got neutral at the bottom, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. And you've got a little lever on the bar, so you click the little neutral lockout lever to get it into first. So you feel like a factory racer before you even set off down pit lane. And it actually means you can use first really confidently. Whereas on some models, you know, when you're going from second to first, you've got that gap. You don't know if you're going to hit a false neutral. If you do, you've got no engine brake in. So it's always that it's sort of in the back of your mind. Whereas at Melbourne Loop and Goddard's, the last two corners, you can use first as if you would second or third. It slots in so easily, it stops you far better, and it gives you that drive out. It's a question that now I'm asking, it's like, why doesn't everyone do this? Because it is so good. And to be honest, it just makes the whole riding experience really enjoyable, because you've got this incredible machine that you feel like you can push to your limits. It will help you get there, and it's got so much more to give. Now, of course, there are going to be some downsides to this bike. On the road, it's going to be a bit feisty. As it's a homologation special, it doesn't come with, you know, your electronic suspension that you can soften off really easy. The side stand is an absolute nightmare. If you're short like me, trying to get that thing up and down is just hard work. In fact, that's the worst bit about riding it. And then we've also got the price to talk about as well. So the V4R comes in at £38,995, which, whichever way you spin it, is a hell of a lot of money. And that's without the £8,200 exhaust system that we had fitted to our test bike. So the question is it worth the money? Well, if I had the money to spend and I was after a track bike, this would be at the top of my shopping list. Sure, it's not going to be the best on road, but that's not really what it's made for. As a track bike that's built to win championships, as a track bike that's built to be the very best it can be for the widest range of riders, Ducati have absolutely knocked it out of the park. Now, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Is it too much power? Does it cost too much? Probably, but you know, we like to hear your thoughts. Please like and subscribe, and we'll be back with you on the next one.